Hey, it is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're zooming in and focusing in on a wonderful viewer comment that we got in, and that was really looking at the thought process that has been a very painful and toxic dynamic with a malignant narcissist or a psychopath, and really that is a lot of the pattern interrupt. What she is calling basically a negative toxic vomit from this narcissist or emotionally manipulative individual. And as you can see, this person will be relentless and be out of control in terms of the pattern interrupt that they are trying to create in a disalignment or a pattern interrupt with your thought process, your cognition, to basically supersede or undersede them so that you are no longer engaged in your thought process. That would be positive, orderly direction, what we're calling pod thinking, positive, orderly direction. So you have to be very well aware of the tendency of a malignant narcissist or a psychopath to basically try to derail you, get you off track, try to override your natural flow, your natural flow of thought, of emotions, of feeling, of dreams, things which are emanating or generating from you. And this is all well and good. You are good enough. You have a focus, yet this individual will try to circumvent or derail your thought process, your feeling process. And it's essentially, the fear-based, you are wrong mentality. You are off base. You don't know what you're thinking. You don't know what you're doing. You are stupid. And so they're going to try to truncate you, cut you off at the roots of your inner voice. And this becomes very, very manipulative, especially when it's chronic with time. In the beginning, you might have been unaware of this pattern interrupt, where the person tries to cut you down, give you the jab, undercut you from your feeling process, make you feel stupid, and then fill you with self-doubt, and then you eventually close yourself off, you shut down. And so this becomes, where you then become very submissive and then isolated, and this person is overpowering you. They are dominating you. They are bossy, but it's not a positive. It's not a unconditional, supportive or nurturing sort of presence where the energy of flow can be, smooth and equal, and there's respect in the energy field as well as the dynamic. And so I think this is a very important concept. And then furthermore is, how do you deal with it? You need to get into a state of metacognition, which becomes when you are able to think about what you are thinking about. So in other words, you're able to see this and label it and understand it so that you don't react. The first step is becoming aware. So hitherto this, you might have given in. You might have felt like a nobody. You might have allowed this person to define you and your feelings and your emotions, and furthermore, how you participated in that situation. They're very good at trying to shut people down, and see you, wither away, see you quiver away, see you, hide in the corner, and then act and pout. So that's their goal. Is they feel a sense of accomplishment or reward or pleasure having kind of undercut you, and this is really what is called a pattern interrupt to your thinking. So a lot of people then become very self-critical in this, and they actually internalize and ingest the feeling and then the self-evaluation from this person, especially if you're married and you're in the we're in this together sort of mindset. Then it becomes, you're doing this because this is your commitment. You've had a serious bond with this person, and maybe they came and filled a void or a need for you in your life, but now it is becoming too much. It's becoming the state of overwhelm, and it's very negative. So negative is an actual reality versus positive. When you are around the positive, you feel a sense of flow. You know, I mean, if you were to just look at this beautiful setting, I don't know if you can see this, but I mean, overall, it's a very positive, beautiful setting. You can see, hopefully you can see this. Can you see this? It is just a gorgeous, lovely little creek river that is flowing through the backyard of a very beautiful home, and very peaceful, but you can see the flow. I mean, that's the natural flow of the thoughts, emotions. And when you stay there long enough, you get, you know, a sense, you kind of pick up the energy that's coming from the water. You see that it's uninhibited. There's no, you know, limitations or boulders or obstacles which are in the flow. And your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions should be like this. And like this meaning, you should become very well aware that these types of individuals will try to instill in you, ingrain in you a state of self-limitation, where it's like a, you know, it's like a dam. They're going to try to build up this wall around you where you can't flow. And so I want to give you some very, very excellent affirmations that you can do when you are with this, because for a lot of people on the channel, they have had this around them with not only multiple people, but for years or decades, where they are just stuck and they can't get into the flow. So I'm going to give you some great questions to ask yourself today. And this is, you know, where I really want you to get into your recovery journal, and I want you to get out several blank pages. There should be a segment, and then this is also part of the book that I am in the process of compiling and curating right now. But you can ask yourself, you have in mind who this person is. You have an idea of the emotional pain, the physical stifling, the self-limiting, then, you know, I am too weak. You know, it creates a sort of a weakness in you, and that is their target, is to make you feel weak, emotionally weak. So I'm going to give you, first of all, the awareness that this person who is, you know, battling you abusively, bossy, negative, the negative vomit, which the viewer so aptly stated, you know, when you are around that, you need to realize that you have power to disempower that, so it no longer has any effect on you. This person will use this tool again and again and again, like a hammer, a plow, a spade. They will use this on you to create this hole, to create this negativity, to create this gunk, you know, which inhibits the natural flow of your thinking, your happiness, to the point where happiness becomes foreign to you. You don't know how to exercise it. You don't feel that it exists. You can't see it, feel it, touch it, you know, exist it, live it. And so you really need to understand, whether it's a person, a community, a family, several people, that this is a tool. And so you cannot, you know, you can realize that you are separate from this, and you don't have to give in to the negative tool. And so realize that the first thing to do is become aware and not react. So to not react means to not speak, to not look, to not press buttons, to not put your, you know, your fist up. You know, your not reacting oftentimes comes right here in the mouth, in the brain, connected with the mouth, and in your heart. Silence can be your greatest friend in this situation. Silence meaning not talking, not reacting, not giving in, not saying, okay, you're right, I should not be doing this, because they're going to engage in this pattern interrupt for, you know, they're going to repeat. So you have to then say, okay, this is the tool that they're using. This is the emotional manipulation tool, whether you want to call it their emotional hammer, their emotional spade. You know, they're trying to uproot you. They're trying to tell you, you know, that you're off base, you're stupid. You know, you don't know how to care for this person. You don't know how to take care of our kids. All the slander, all the gaslighting, all the brainwashing is a tool that they use to overpower you. So realize that your affirmations should be able to look beyond them as this very separate entity. And I want you to get out your recovery journal, and I want you to have at least 5 to 10 pages. And I want you to fill this in. If I weren't so surrounded by toxic, negative people or feelings, I would really love to ... And I want you to fill that page, 2-page, 3-page, 4-page, with 10, 20, 30, 50 things. And I don't care if it's these big, ideas. I want you just to write them out. It can be as simple as I would be at peace. I would have a smile. I would be free. I would be liberated. I would watch more movies. I would take photographs. I would go on a leisurely walk. I would learn how to cook. I would learn how to sew. I would learn how to create craft dolls. I would learn how to work with wood, and I would learn about building for my home, or painting, or stenciling. Whatever it is that you allow your mind to go to, because that inner voice is what has not been permitted within you to experience it in your life. And when I say experience, I mean kinesthetically, I mean olfactory, I mean visually, and you need to get it down where you can see it. So if you were to say, I would love to scuba dive, you think, peace and harmony, that's unrealistic, I could never do that. I want you to write it down, and I don't want you to criticize your answers, because the habituation of criticism has been what has been instilled or ingrained or projected onto you, the quote-unquote negative projectile vomit, which this viewer so aptly stated. And I want you to also ask yourself some other questions. Here you are. And here's another great question that I want you to put at the top of your page. If these people were not holding me back with hate and judgment, I would ... If I could understand their jealousy and see it for what it is, I would ... If I did not have their hate in my life, I would ... And if I knew that their statements and actions were all negative, fear-based manipulations, I would ... And when you start making this choice for your life, not, I'm going to battle them, I would beat them up, I would yell at them. These are chances for you to get into the quantum realm of choice, the quantum energy field, where you're dismantling their fear, you're disempowering their fear. You're basically saying that fear-based manipulation doesn't work on me. It's not received. I'm not receiving that. I'm not tolerating that, and I'm not interacting with it. So even though it might feel strange that you just let their comments go and don't react and continue to pedal on, then that's what you need to do. And you need to kinesthetically do this again and again and again. That's what neuroplasticity is. It's learning a new behavior, a new feeling, a new thought process, and memorizing this, rehearsing this again and again, so that your body feels it, your mind knows that you're being quiet. If you need to literally put your finger on your mouth so that you don't talk, put your hand so that you don't look, you need to engage these tools. And as you engage these tools, you disempower their hate, jealousy, negative slander, and the brainwashing and gaslighting. And then you take boundaries, you take command back of yourself, your perspective, and you now are liberated to make choices. You're enacting that prefrontal cortex of your brain, where you're then living for your future, and your feelings are in a positive state and not the negative energy that is based on the judgment, hate, fear, condemnation, smear campaign, trying to compile a whole pile of judgment against another. Peace and harmony with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.